Hi children, let's learn Business Studies Form 2, First Term, Chapter 2, Communication. Okay then, let's see the learning objectives of our lesson. Understanding about communication in organizational view, learning about methods, types and forms of communication, how to do effective communication within the organization, occasions where we use effective communication. Okay, here the content of our lesson. What is communication? Directions of communication, methods of communication, communication barriers, types of communication. So first we will see what is communication. In general, we can say a definition like it means transfer of information from a sender to a receiver, and it should be understood by the receiver. So what we have to keep remember is to happen communication effectively, three things to be completed. Okay children, now you can see the directions of communication. First of all, see the triangle here. This triangle shows three levels of management. Each and every company is having these three levels of management. They are top management, middle level management and lower level or first line management. Below the lower level management, laborers or employees are there. So the communication happens in between these three levels and the employees. So directions of communication we can categorize like upward communication, downward communication, horizontal communication and diagonal communication. So we will be discussing one by one in detail. Okay, now we are going to learn upward communication. Simply we can say communication which takes place from a subordinate to a superior. Or in another way, information flowing from lower levels of a hierarchy to the upper levels. So according to the flow chart here, you can see upward communication is happening. How it's happened? Here the bottom level worker is there, then after production supervisor, then the assistant production manager, then the production manager. So production manager represents the upper level management or the upper part of the communication, then the worker is in the bottom. So the communications happen in upward way or from bottom to top. So, and also we can see some of the occasions that can be used upward communication: to give information on achievements or progresses, to point out problems that are being encountered, to pass on ideas for improvement on activities. So always upward communication is happening, a kind of way giving informations or achievements. We are reporting those things to the upper level. Or if any problem arises in the organization, we have to report those things. So here you can see some forms of upward communication: reports, suggestions and grievances. So these are the things we have to learn in upward communication. So every time you have to learn and you have to remember that upward communication happens from bottom to top levels. Okay, now we are going to learn about the downward communication. So one of the directions of communication. Simply communication which takes place from a superior to a subordinated, or in another way, informations flowing from upper level of hierarchy to lower levels. So here you can see the diagram. The arrows are going down. It is the total opposite side or opposite direction of the upward communication. So the managing director is there, general manager, then after assistant general manager, divisional or departmental head, supervisors, employees or workers. So top part managing director, with the lower part always employees or workers there. But the difference is the arrows are going down. That means the communication happens from top level to the bottom part. It's communicating downwards. So this downward communication we can use to give instructions, for motivating, to provide informations about policies and procedures, to give feedbacks about performances. So every time it happens to down levels. Giving instructions. You always know instructions are always given from the top ones to bottom part ones. Motivating, right? And feedbacks. And some forms of this downward communication, circulars, policy statements, memos, company newsletters. So every time giving instructions or informations or motivating some kind of way, and information or policies, procedures, these things created in the top level, and it will communicate to the downward. So this is downward communication. Right, we will see now what is horizontal communication, one of the directions of communication, or the third direction of communication. So simply communication which takes place between people at the same level in an organization, or else transmission of information between people, divisions, departments or units within the same level. So you can see here, according to the picture is mentioned here, purchase manager is there, production manager, quality control manager, sales manager. So you can see these people are in different departments, but the communications happen in between them. So that means horizontal communication. Even though they are in different departments, when the same level or same positions once are communicating, it called as horizontal communication. So coordinate between various departments, but it is happening in horizontal way, right? So as an example, the production and the marketing department must interact with each others, as marketing tactics and production planning go to hand in hand. And also I can say, like, horizontal communication, it will be beneficial, like promote understanding and smooth communication and coordination between various departments effectively, and increase the teamwork, right? So horizontal communication means always different department, but the same level, same position, the communication happens, right? And also some forms of horizontal communication, like face-to-face, telephone talks, periodical meetings, memos. What we have to learn here, horizontal communication means same level or same position communication. Okay, right. Okay, diagonal communication, or the last direction of communication. Simply communication which takes place across the traditional line management boundaries, or coordinate between workers in different sections where one involves in higher level. So always in diagonal communication, one involves in higher level, the other one is involving in the lower section of a business firm, right? So according to this picture, you can see here diagonal communication is happening. So one similarity is there with the horizontal communication, that is, this happens, diagonal communication happens in between different departments. So the difference is, this is always happening in between higher level 1 and lower level 1, right? So that is the difference with the horizontal communication and diagonal communication. So as an example, marketing manager communicates with accountant. So these people are in different department, but one is in upper level, the other one is down level position, right? So the diagonal communication, we can say like it is beneficial to transfer quick informations and advices, communicate in tactical situation, right? Like very important cases, it is really important diagonal communication. So this is the way of happening diagonal communication. Always like forms, we can say verbally and telephone, through telephones, diagonal communication can be happen. Okay, these are the 4 directions of communication. Okay, here we will learn methods of communication. You can see there are 3 main methods of communication, like oral communication, written communication and electronic communication. Other than that, visual communication also there, but in here we will learn these 3 methods of communication. We will be discussing this in detail. Okay, we'll see. The first one is oral communication. That means communication by talking and listening. That means always through the words. As an example, face-to-face, telephone, tiny, like that. So written communication means communication by using written documents, always giving an evidence, letters, notices, newsletters, bulletin. And the latest one is electronic communication. Communication by using new technological methods. Nowadays we are experiencing this electronic communication very much, right? So as examples, fax, emails, WhatsApp, Viber, Zoom. So it is developing. Electronic communication is developing nowadays. So very easy to communicate it with each other's electronic communication. But at the same time, oral communication and written communication are also very important. So you can understand that oral communication is always talking, and written communication is using written document. Electronic communication means using internet or new methods, new technology, right? So these are the three methods of communication. Okay, now we are going to learn about the communication barriers. So that means anything that prevents you from receiving and understanding the message others use to convey their information, right? That means having some obstacles to communicate, to do this effective communication. Some obstacle or barriers can happen. So that's called communication barriers. So we will see what are the communication barriers, what kind of communication barriers we can experience. So wrong target, wrong format, technical breakdown, unable to understand, attitudes towards sender, wrong channel, no feedback, poor timing, use of jargon, and unclear messages. These all can be effect to happen wrong communication or communication as in communication barriers, right? So wrong target mean always the sender is giving the information not to the relevant person. Wrong format mean what we are sending to the sender, the format or the message is not clearly mentioned. Technical breakdown, it can happen because of the technical errors. Unable to understand, that means the content is not clearly mentioned there. Attitude towards sender, that is we are not trusting what we are receiving, right? Then wrong channel, the media we are using to transfer the message is wrong. No feedback, that means communication always happen to one side, not the written side or not the feedback coming. Poor timing, that means time consuming there. Time limitation or time, that means on time work is not there. So then the communication can be break. Use of jargon, that means using the wrong language, right? So unclear messages, the message you are sending is not clear, right? So these kind of barriers can be happen in communication. So these are we can identify as communication barriers. Right, okay, the final part, types of communication. So there we can identify two types of communication. They are formal communication and informal communication. So formal communication means always official communication among groups of employees and created by the company. That means sharing messages regarding the official works of the organization. So as an example, as examples we can say like meetings, legal, commercial, notices, and social media and publications also. So legality is there and official touch is there. Always, even the language using and the format using, the rights using, all the things are official there. So that's called formal communication. The next one is informal communication. That means communication among the family relations, friends in different departments, right? So informal communication, that means the sharing of unofficial messages, ones that go beyond the organization, formal activities, right? That is not in legal way, okay? That is informal always. It happens always among the relatives and friends, the different departments, right? Like as examples like rumors, gossips, right? Informal facts or informal messages, if they are sharing, that's called informal communication. So we can identify as two types of communication like formal and informal communication. Okay, then all of you please go through the questions and hope you all learn the chapter well. Thank you very much.